Have you got an idea of your team for tomorrow's game, and what are your plans in terms of that?
We don't. Probably even less so than ever because of the wicket's been on the covers probably since late last night, and I reckon it'll continue to be throughout the day. What looked like a reasonably good pitch yesterday, an extra 24 hours under this hot, sweaty cover might change things in the morning, but we'll have to just wait and see how it turns up.
Are you looking at changes in obviously you've got to make one change with Chris Wokes. Are you looking at personnel, or are you looking at the balance of the team?
Both, I think. I think the matchup against New Zealand will affect the team that we select, and again, I think if the wicket's as fair as we hope it's going to be, we'll go on the matchup against New Zealand as opposed to conditions. Conditions should be set fair, hopefully.
And on previous occasions here, one of the big reasons that you've gone for one spinner is because of the short straight boundaries. Is that still the case? Do you envisage playing just the one spinner here?
It depends how sweaty the pitch is in the morning. If it's like there's normally a lot of grass here, not necessarily green grass, quite a thatchy feel to the wicket, so you have to weigh that up really. I think playing against New Zealand as well, it's another factor. So think about it for another 24 hours. Thanks, team.
You can pretty much book a semi-final spot here if it goes well, but you've got all this sort of security stuff going on off the pitch after what happened in London. Does that play on the mind at all? Can you leave that off the pitch?
I think we can, and I think we sort of proved that in Leeds after what happened in Manchester. Obviously the guys are chatting about it constantly because it's not very far from where we stayed, and obviously a lot of us live near to where it happened, so we're always constantly talking about it and making sure everybody feels that they can talk about it and not necessarily hide away from it.
Is that the best way, do you think, to deal with it, to not shut it off, but if someone wants to talk about it, to listen to them?
I think it is, yeah. We certainly sort of facilitate guys that feel that they need to talk about it or have any concerns. Certainly go and chat to our head of security.
Owen, have there been any practical differences in security arrangements since Saturday, day to day, hour to hour?
Visually there has. I can't tell you outside of guys who have worked with us on a close basis what's happened. Obviously I'm not allowed to either, but certainly visually from a player's point of view they have, yeah.
And in terms of the players that were in the hotel Saturday night in London, have you spoken to them, and what was that experience like for them? Yeah, I mean, one of the main things was making sure everybody was safe and in a well, either at the hotel or at home, and everybody, it's a completely new experience for everybody and not something that they want to go through again. But yeah, it's nice to see that they're safe.
Are you picking up any vibes from either your players or other teams that there might be reservations about continuing with the tournament? Bearing in mind the Oval's only a mile or two from London Bridge, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But no, I haven't spoken to any of the other players in other teams in the tournament, but certainly within our team there's no concerns.
You remain completely happy with the security arrangements around you?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Can I ask you, Kane Williamson and Joe Root have both made 100 in their only games in the tournament so far. Do you see similarities in their style of play and the way they go about their batting?
Similarities in the fact that the two of them are very high quality players, and in the modern day game both of them seem to find a way to expand what they do across all three formats. I see that as a huge quality in both of them, and the weight of runs that they score as well. Yeah.
I mean, the game in Wellington during the last World Cup was a real low point, wasn't it? In terms of where England were then, and it was almost like a watershed moment. And you came back strongly against New Zealand that summer. Is that relevant at all? What they did to you that day?
No, I don't think it is. Certainly, they were one of the favourites going in to the tournament, and proved that against us that day in Wellington. It was sort of men against boys but I think it's completely different now. 2 years down the line, we've got a completely new team, pretty much, and hopefully moving forward.
Is it fair to say New Zealand inspired the way you play now to a certain extent? You know, because they started doing this, didn't they, under McCullum?
I think there are a number of teams that have. If you look at the top 4 teams that got to the semi-final stages in the World Cup, all seem to score, you know, regular totals of over 350 or 350 itself. So I think they've contributed to it as a whole. I think, you know, the way New Zealand went about playing their cricket was probably closer to the way we go about it. You know, we have very similar characteristics and values as a side, and it was probably the easiest to relate to out of those 4 teams that made the latter stages.
Owen, is the form of Jason Roy a bit of a concern for you, for him at the moment?
Jason's obviously lacked runs lately, but certainly we feel, everybody within the team, the squad, backroom staff, feel that a score for Jason is around the corner, so hopefully it is tomorrow.
Is this the kind of tournament where you can play yourself back into form?
I think every game presents a huge opportunity. I think different to playing in series where one team might have the wood over you, you actually come up against different oppositions, you know, that have different sides of things. Certainly, again, tomorrow presents an opportunity within that to go out and score some runs.
Owen, you said it was boys against men back then. What's the difference? Like, what makes you men now, if you know what I mean? The difference between the boys then and the men now?
I think a lot of it to do is with confidence. You know, you only build confidence by producing performances and winning games of cricket. I think the combination of that and playing more games as a team and as individuals makes you more experienced as a side. So, you know, we come into this tournament full of confidence and knowing that the conditions we're going to play in, we've played in before and have had success before. I think that the dominant factor in New Zealand was that they had that confidence at the time and the confidence within the group, whereas we didn't have it.
Nick, then Paul, and more from John. How's the deal where Rashid reacted to not playing at the Oval, and will it have dented his confidence in any way to have been a member of the team for a couple of years and then not played in that first game?
No, not at all. Adil's quite relaxed about things. As with everybody within the group, everybody wants to play. All the 15 want to play. And it's not easy leaving guys out sometimes. But we've come into this tournament to win every game of cricket. And we select the best team that we think is the best chance of winning that particular game. And it was unfortunate for Adil that he missed out, but he still remains a big part of our future moving forward.
Stephen Finn's not been in the team has been in and out of the side for a couple of years. If he plays, what do you want to see from him?
I think more of what we've seen in the West Indies. Again, he's been in and out of the side, but what's been a very consistent and progressive bowling unit, it's been hard to get in. And particularly in that fast bowling role, you know, we have Mark Wood and Liam Plunkett doing a fantastic job at the moment. And in the West Indies, Stephen showed what he could do, possibly reeled in about 2 years of what he could do in that particular tour. There wasn't a lot on offer in the pitches and the games that he played, but certainly coming in and bowling fast and hitting the wicket hard was one of those values that he showed, so it was good.
I was going to ask about Finn as well, actually, Owen. Would you have any reservations throwing him straight in tomorrow, and was he the automatic choice to replace Chris once he was injured?
Yes, he was, and I suppose backing up consistency in selection and, you know, trying to get guys together as a group that we've showed trust in over the last couple of years, and Finney's been one of those players. We try to go like for like as often as we can, but when we can't, we go for a guy who we can throw the ball to at any stage in order to try and make an impact in the game, and Finney's one of those guys. And I'd have no hesitation in playing him tomorrow if he felt it was the right thing to do.
John, then we'll finish with Gideon.
I mean, I was actually a popular man, Stephen Finn. I was going to ask him whether realistically he could leapfrog who are in the original squad?
I think it'll be a hard thing to do, but certainly he has the quality to do it. Again, taking your opportunity is part of doing that, but certainly coming in and making a huge impact in the tournament. We have guys who can do that, who are not playing at the moment.
So your natural inclination would be to stick with the original squad and Finn is sort of back for tomorrow's game?
There's a chance. It'll all depend on the wicket. Yeah.
Last one from Gideon, please.
I was just wondering, how much closer are you to being able to unleash Ben Stokes for 10 overs, or is it still a case of sort of managing through?
I think very close. He came through the game the other day bowling more overs than we intended bowling him or having to bowl him, but I think we're nearly there. He's had no pain in 5 days now, so if that continues throughout tomorrow, there's a chance he could bowl 10 overs.
Brilliant.
Thank you.